Introduction. This is the VLE site for IMI eLearning, and the address to get here www.automotivet.org. As you can see, when you get to the front page, one of the most important things is that you need to log in or create a new account. Some main menu features down here and the course categories just underneath, and some general information about books, calendar dates and so on that are coming up. Just one important point to note here: if you're using an iPad or an iPhone to access the material, then we recommend that you get the Puffin browser. There's a free version from the App Store, and even the paid version is quite cheap. So that's it, that's the general introduction. Now watch the other videos to find out important things about how to log on, finding your courses, accessing the learning, using the multiple choice questions, other features, and then for teachers, checking students' results, checking students' logs and reports, and then editing teacher information, and finally a summary. Thank you. Logging onto the course is easy. Just go to the login box at the top left hand corner, enter your username and password, and that's it. If you haven't got an account yet, then you can create one by following this link here. But do notice this piece of information along the centre of the screen, and just let us know if you need some help. So let me log in now. Enter my username there, Tom Demo, and then my password. And click login. And after a second, that's it, I'm in. Apparently no different, but now you can see that the logon box has disappeared. So from this point onwards, I need to start finding my courses. Once you have logged in, finding your courses is quite easy. First of all, if you've already been enrolled on a course, or you have already entered an enrolment key, all you need to do is roll the mouse over the My Courses link, and any courses that you're enrolled on will pop up here, and in fact down here too, where it says My Courses. So we go to My Courses, click the link from there, and it takes us straight into the learning material. This is our demonstration area. To get back home, just click the Home button at the top. Now, to access a new course, you will either need to pay or have an enrolment key, and this is easy to find. First of all, click All Courses, and then work your way through the system to find the ones that you need. I'm going to use our colleagues at SkillNet as an example. So I'll click on United Kingdom here, S for SkillNet, and then SkillNet down here, and follow through. And then in this case there are some subcategories, so I'm going to use the independent one, but you use whichever one you're working with, and then you can see the courses that are available. So if I now carry on and click level 2, for example, we get to this point where it's asking you to pay or enter an enrolment key. Now if you're at one of our registered colleges, you'll have an enrolment key, so that's easy. All we need to do is enter it in the box now, and in this case I'll just put it in here. So I've entered the enrolment key and I click Enroll Me in this course. Notice that the name here is only appropriate to the course that I'm working on now. If you have any problems, just contact us directly from the contacts page. So I click Enroll Me in the course, and there we go, and I'm in, and I've got full access to everything in the course. It's as easy as that. If I now go back to the home page, which you can click the icon up here or just click the home button, you will see now that if I roll over My Courses as well as the demonstration, I've also got access to this particular level 2 course, and it's also appeared in My Courses down here. And that's it, accessing and finding your courses. Accessing the learning in your courses. Remember, to get to the courses, we go over the My Courses link here and click the one that we need. Here we go, this is the level 2 course, and you can see there's things like a glossary and a toolbox at the top, and if I scroll down there are topics, as we call them, numbered here, number 1, 2, 3 and so on, and each of these topics usually contains a particular subject or a unit that you might be working on. Here's a quick tip: if you happen to be working on, let's say, here we go, the engines unit, you can click the little square here and it narrows down the whole screen to just show that particular topic, and in fact using these links, look here, you can jump to different parts or different units. So let's say we're just working on this one. All of these links down here access the learning screens. They've all got multimedia, animations, videos, all sorts of things, and the quizzes we'll come to in a moment. So let's look at something simple: introduction and operating cycles. I just click on that link and in a second or two up on the screen it appears. And as you could hear then, my colleague was narrating that particular screen in the background, but I've muted him off now so you can hear me better, far more important. So as we work down here, you can see there are different links to different screens in this particular section of learning. We're on the first one. I'm just going to move to the second one because it's a nice animation, and it will come up in just a second. And here we go, and again a narrator will be giving you the voiceover. We click T for text, and this is the voice that he'll be reading at the moment, and if there are some labels you'd click this one, and sometimes there's another controller here to control a video or change to different pictures. Here's a useful tip: on the whole screen of the browser when you're looking at it, if you press Ctrl+, you can zoom the whole screen in and out, which is a useful thing to do, like this. Look, if you want to look in a bit more detail at things, and we can just browse back out again, or zoom back out I should say. And also on these sort of screens, if you right click with the mouse, you can zoom in just to that part of the screen and move around a little bit more. This is sometimes useful if you want to see the text in larger print, for example. So there we are, that's accessing the learning screens, and as you can see you work your way down a long list of screens in this way. Just right click and zoom back out again to show the whole screen once more. So work through each of these in turn, take your time, there's no rush, cover all the subject until you're happy with it, and then go back through. Using the breadcrumb trail here is a good idea. We can just go back to L2 here and it takes us back to the main course. Okay, so that's it, that's accessing the learning. Using the multiple choice questions. Once you have studied all the learning material, and note there are lots of different sections that we're looking at here, for example, the next thing to do is to carry out the quiz associated with where you've been working. In this case, look, there's one on engine mechanical, and if we scroll down a bit further you'll see there's another one there on lubrication, cooling, alternative fuels and hybrids, and keep going down. It's a big unit, this one. There's air supply, ignition and fuel systems, and then when we finally get right down to the bottom there's a unit based quiz that you can take, and even a certificate that you can take afterwards. But note, don't take the certificate until you're happy with the score in the quiz, because you can only take it once. Okay, now for this demonstration I'm just going to go through and try out the engine mechanical quiz. I'll just do one or two questions so we're quick. So you click on the link for the quiz and say attempt the quiz now, which is what we want to do, and as you can see it's fairly straightforward. Question at the top, and we just click whatever answer we think is appropriate to the question. This one's about two-stroke spark ignition engines, and we'll guess the answer that it doesn't require a camshaft. Engines fitted, we'll guess at transverse. I hope you don't guess, by the way, I hope you do the questions properly, but I'm just going to go through some of these quickly to see which ones I get right, which ones I get wrong. Okay, so that'll do for now, just rather than taking up your time. So we go through the quiz normally and carefully, thinking about it and choosing answers for all of them. At this point you can save it without submitting, so you can come back and finish the quiz another time, or you can submit it and finish, which is what I'm going to do. Submit all and finish, and basically this says, are you sure? Yes I am, and that's it. Now when you've finished a quiz, you get a review of how you've done. And as you can see here, I got this question right, so it says correct. I got this one right too, and as I scroll down now, you notice that I got this one wrong, and it's guiding me to say go back and review that section of the course again. I got this one wrong too, I got the next one right, I got that one wrong, and then of course I will have got them all wrong down here because I didn't put any answers in. Okay, so I'll go all the way down when I've finished reviewing. Once again, take your time, learn what you should have put, what the right answer is, and have another go at the quiz if you need to. When you finish that, as you can see now, it's telling me that I've had one attempt at the quiz. I only scored 3 marks, which comes out at about 2 out of 10. So I can choose to have another go at the quiz at this point if I wish. Okay, or alternatively, go back to the course, and only scoring 2 out of 10, I think I probably need to spend a bit more time learning. Okay, but that's it. That's accessing and using the multiple choice questions. But just while we're on the subject here, you can click the grades link at the top left, and if I scroll down here, you can see you have a kind of table of all of the quizzes associated with this particular course. And as I've only done that one, the engine mechanical quiz, it gives me my grade and percentage and the overall percentage down here. Okay, now don't panic, all of this work down here it probably take you at least a year or 2 to get all the way through it, so study it carefully and you'll do fine. So there we go, that's it, accessing the multiple choice questions. Other features. There are a few other features on the courses, as well as the important learning material and the quizzes that we've looked at in other sections, and they are things like the news forum, the glossary, the toolbox, and so on, and we'll look at a few of these in this short video. First of all, let's look at the news forum. We can click on there and check whether there's been any news added. Sometimes your teachers might add news or important information in there, and remember we always use the breadcrumb trail here to go back down the line. And check out the glossary. The glossary pops up in a separate window, and as you can see it's a very comprehensive automotive glossary, so you can either search for a word like engine and click search, or you can browse through looking at words beginning with G, words beginning with T, and so on. Okay, so it's nice and easy to use. In this case it runs as a separate window, so we can just click back to the previous screen. Okay, so that was the glossary. The other one is a toolbox. We can open up a toolbox which just shows a list of tools, so if you come across a word that you don't know what it is, then you can scroll down this list until you find it, like a chain pipe cutter, and it just shows you the picture back in the middle there, and we just return to our courses from that particular screen. Okay, so that's nice and easy. There we go. So there we are, that was the news forum, glossary and toolbox. The other thing is we've looked at grades in association with the questions. The profile. It's possible to go to your profile page and to make edits or make changes or edit your profile, so that, for example, you can change your first name and your second name and your email address. So it's a good idea to make sure your email address is correct, because you can use this to reset your password. Okay, so I recommend that you check up on your profile and keep it updated. Let's just go back to the course. That was the profile. The final thing here is that it shows down here a list of online users, and you can actually click on other people's names to send them a message, and your teachers might choose to send you a message in this way. So I'm just going to click on myself for now. It takes me back to the profile, in fact, but I just click messages, and then I can search for other people and send them messages or see which of my contacts are online. It's like a very simple IM instant messenger application that's built in there. Okay, that's it. Let's just close that one back down and go back to the main course. That's it. Other features. Checking students' results. To check the results of students in your group, you need to be logged in as either an editing teacher or a non-editing teacher. and here I am as a non-editing teacher, and you can see that the screen is very much the same as you would see if you were a student, with the big difference being that when you click the grades link here, it shows you the results of all the students in your group, and as you can see here there are just 2, and you can see that this guy scored 3 out of 10 for that quiz, this one's got 2 out of 10 for that quiz, and that's all. But you get effectively a big grid of all of the results. Down at the bottom it gives you the overall average for each quiz, which is useful, and if I scroll all the way along to the right hand side, you can see down here we get the total grade for each individual student, and therefore the one in the bottom right hand corner is kind of the average of all the averages. But it's a useful benchmark sometimes. So I just scroll back to the left, and that's it. One more thing that's very useful, there's a few settings you can try out here, but this one, look, export the file as a spreadsheet. You can leave all the ticks as they are and say submit and download and save, and a spreadsheet downloads to your normal downloads area, and it's a really useful way to keep a backup. So we just click along the breadcrumb trail here to get back to the course. There we are, checking students' grades. To check reports or logs of student activity, you do need to be a teacher or an editing teacher. And all we need to do to achieve this is to click the reports link over at the top left. And when I do that, a set of options are presented where I can choose which course, which group if you have different groups within a course, which participant, in this case I can choose lots of different people who might be in the course here, or I can show all participants. I can choose whether I want to look at what went on just today, yesterday, the day before, or all days. I'll just choose today for now, and then I can choose whether I want to look at all activities, just certain units, or whatever. So I'll make the selections, and then all actions, display it on a page and get the logs. Usually the best option is to leave all the settings as they are and then choose either a specific day or all days in that box there. I just click get these logs, and you can see now I get a long list of all the different things that have been going on in this course. So if I just scroll down to the bottom here, you can see that this character called Tom Demo enrolled on the course on the 18th of March at 12:35, and he then did some work, looked at some resources, looked at the glossary, the toolbox, etc, etc, all the way up here, so you can see all the different things that he's been doing. Okay, and then somebody else with a very similar name here logged in and did a few things, and then another student who's called Tom Demo 2 up here logged in, and so on up to this point here where he reviewed a quiz. And then the teacher logged back in at this point and looked at the courses, and finally looked at the course log, which is what we're doing now. So you can check the dates and the times of everything that's been going on down here, right down to, if you click on the IP address, it even shows you a little map of where it all happened from. Look, how nice is that? Okay, and if we needed to click to go through to look at the particular course or whatever it was that this guy was doing, so looking at the forum here for example, I can click there and it takes you through and shows you exactly what that student was doing at any one time. So this is the interesting aspect of getting students to work, is that we can send them away to carry out certain activities and then we can log in to see whether they've been doing it or not. Quite a powerful tool. So there we go, student reports or student logs. Just click here to go back to the course. If you have been given the right as an editing teacher, then you have additional power compared to a non-editing teacher. And here I am now logged in as an editing teacher, and you can see first of all that most things like the course learning material links and the quizzes and so on are just the same, but we get more links in the administration menu. The grades and reports and profile are just the same as before, but additional things like backup and restore, import and reset, my recommendation is that you leave those alone. If you wish to learn more, that's great, but if you want some help from us, let us know. The most important thing that an editing teacher is likely to do in a course is to edit the course content. And to do this, it's quite simple. We first of all click this button to turn editing on, and then the screen changes so that after every little part of the screen, either next to each link or in each block, as these are called, we get these little symbols. And most of them are fairly straightforward, I think. This one moves the thing to the right, indents it a little bit, or moves it back out again. This link here allows you to change the position of something. And again, I'll click that and change it back to that position. So we can just move things up and down to get them where you want them to be. This is fairly traumatic. This is delete, never to be seen again. So my recommendation is that you leave that one alone. The little picture of the eye is probably the one that you're most likely to use, because if I click that one, you can see that that particular link now has greyed out. Now we can still see it because we're logged in as an editing teacher, but a student or a non-editing teacher will not be able to now see or use that particular link. And this is a very useful thing that we can do. I'll just turn that one back on so I don't mess the course up. We can do the same thing with a complete topic here. Look, I can hide the whole topic. You can see how everything is greyed out in there, or I can unhide it again. It's like opening and closing an eye. That's why it uses that symbol, I think. Okay, so that's the main thing. So if we wanted to go down here and find that, you know, we didn't want the health and safety section in there, rather than deleting it, just close its eye or hide it in that way, and then when a student logs in, they won't be able to see it. So you can open these again and make them available in that way. You can do the same thing with the blocks down here. We have a block of news, upcoming events and activities. You can either delete them, or again you can hide them from view if you wish. Okay, that's the main thing. So hiding and showing, indenting and moving, and then the other important thing is this little symbol here, which is update or editing of the whole thing. This allows you, for example, to change the name of this forum. So I'll put ZZZ on the end of there. Then you can make changes down at the bottom if you wish. I won't go through every setting on here. And when we've updated this, we say save and return to the course, and you can see that the name of that one has changed. So once again, just to keep it all as it should be, I'll go back in here, delete that little change that I made, scroll down and say save and return to the course. Okay, the one other thing that you're likely to want to do is to use this add resource option. And add a resource here, you can insert labels, a page of text and so on, but most likely the one that will be useful for you, because I mean, don't reinvent the wheel, you know, we filled this up already with a lot of material, is link to a file or website. And we do this and we can type in a name for whatever it is that we're doing here. So I'll go for YouTube site or something like that. We can put a description in the summary box if you wish, and then we can either search for a web page or just type it in here if we know the address. So youtube.com/ATT Auto is my particular YouTube site, so I'll just put that in there, and this can be Google or your own company website or anything else that you like. Once we've done that, we can scroll down here and make a few additional changes now. Do we want it to appear in the same window, or do we want it to come up in a new window, for example? So let's have this shelling out to a new window, and then we can make selections down here if you wish, and scroll down to the bottom and say save and return to the course. And once we've done that, you can see now that we've got a link to that particular YouTube site. And if I click that link now, if I've done everything as I should have done, there we go, I have, because it takes us out to I'll mute that, takes us out to my YouTube site. Okay, and that's as easy as that to make that one operate. So let me just get rid of this. We can go back to the main site where we were working before, which is this one. There we go, and we're back to the site. So that was the YouTube site link on there. Okay, now if I want to get rid of that, I will actually use the delete button in this case. Click delete. Are you sure? Yes, I am, and it's gone. When I've finished, I turn editing off and I'm back where I started. So that's it. Remember, the most important thing, turn editing on, and in most cases you'll probably just want to hide or show resources, but then perhaps to be able to add a link to a file or a website might be useful. And that's it. Turn editing off and we're back to the course. Editing Teachers. Summary. Well, that's it. We've had a good look round most of the features of the courses. If I click on the home link now to go back to the home page, you'll notice that there's an option to make contact with us down here if you need any extra help. Direct links to the video help on our YouTube site and so on. Okay, so if you need any help, get in touch. But apart from that, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy using our online virtual learning environment. Thank you.